Hello and welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll take a brief drive through history to check out some of the fastest cars ever made and the daring drivers who pushed them to break records. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Humans have always felt the urge to go faster, whether chasing prey on foot millennia ago or cruising highways today. That instinct propels our perpetual quest to push speed limits and break barriers. Of course, increasing velocity brings heightened risks. Yet the thirst for adrenaline and glory has always outweighed caution for daring innovators wanting to go down in history books. Time and again, they've accomplished what conventional wisdom deemed impossible at the time, setting new records that redefined perception of speed limits. Each milestone then opened doors to new eras of innovation across industries. So while the quest for raw speed itself mainly serves ego, it keeps stretching our collective understanding of what's possible. Early rocket cars, 1920s, 1930s. Long before space travel was possible, the idea of harnessing rocket power to propel vehicles on land captured some daring minds. While rockets didn't exactly make for safe or practical cars, the urge to push speed limits led some innovators down this explosive path. In 1928, a daring Swiss inventor named Fritz von Opel installed solid-fuel rockets onto an old race car. During a publicity event, he zoomed around Germany's AVUS racetrack, reaching speeds over 140 miles per hour. Insane for the time. While too unstable for regular driving, he proved the concept of rocket cars. Over the next decade, rocket engineering improved. In 1938, American William Tutt installed a hybrid liquid-solid rocket system into an old Duesenberg, dubbing it the Gabelwagen. Against sanity's wishes, he made several runs on the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah, hitting 187 miles per hour by 1939, a shocking record. While more madness than science, these early rocket cars showed that with enough rockets strapped down, any car could defy speed limits. But for street use, inventors knew they needed to look beyond rockets for power. Still, give those early rocketeers credit for lighting a fuse. Jet and turbine powered, 1930s and 1960s. With rocket cars more suicidal than practical, racers in the 1930s began experimenting with aircraft engines modified for the road. Strap a plane turbine or jet engine onto a car, they figure, and watch it fly on land. An early pioneer was Brit John Cobb, who installed a huge 24-liter Napier Lion airplane motor in his car, reaching an insane 208 miles per hour at Bonneville Salt Flats in 1939. Over tiempo, gas turbine engines became popular for attempts, especially paired with streamlined bodies. In 1964, American racer Art Arfins built his Green Monster jet car using a General Electric J79 turbojet. On the Salt Flats, he reached over 400 miles per hour, faster than the hand glider he used to spot his distance. Later, with more thrust, he claimed 576 miles per hour, though not officially timed. Meanwhile, Craig Brelo's Spirit of America jet car hit 600 miles per hour in 1964, the first to officially break that barrier. He and Arfins dueled aerodynamically for years, pushing close to 700 miles per hour by 1970. While scary and deafening, these jet-powered cars showed that given optimal conditions and good traction, 600+ mph was possible on land. But even with slick aerodynamics, the frontal area needed for these bulky engines limited top speeds. Racers yearned to breach 1,000 miles per hour, but knew a different approach was needed. Enter the rocket car Redux, 1970s, 1980s. As jet turbines maxed out aerodynamically by the late 1960s, land speed racers circled back to reinventing the rocket car of decades past. But this time with superior materials, electronics, and design aided by aerospace engineers. Rocket car designs centered on a big hybrid rocket motor surrounded by lightweight frames wearing capsule-like bodies with low frontal space. Highly unstable and hard to steer, the goal was all-out straight-line speed. In 1970, American Gary Gabelich's rocket-powered Blue Flame achieved the long-sought goal of Mach 1, officially hitting 630 miles per hour on Bonneville Salt. In 1983, Richard Noble's Thrust II car used a jet and rocket combo to reach 633 miles per hour. That same year, the Budweiser rocket team and driver Stan Barrett screamed 739 miles per hour using pressurized nitrous oxide as oxidizer, the new record. Barrett described it as like riding an explosion, and said the salt surface got totally lost in a blur. Fueled by aerospace engineering, these rocket cars showed telemetry proved humans could withstand 1,000+ mph on land under the right machine. All bets are off. The arrival of supercars, 1990s today, by the 1990s, rocket cars deemed maxed out closing on 1,000 miles per hour. Land speed racing entered a lull. Yet in the automotive world, things were just heating up. Exotic supercar brands like Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Porsche began blowing past norms for street-legal sports cars. Helped by aerospace materials, Shia design, and electronics, suddenly production models chased numbers long held by only custom racing machines. In 1999, the McLaren F1 became the first production street car to pass 240 miles per hour, hitting 241. The Ferrari Enzo in 2002 buffeted, then at 217 miles per hour. Then Bugatti roared into scene. The 2001 Bugatti Veyron was a moonshot, an 8.0 liters quad-turbo V16 engine producing 987, then an AWD two-seater body shaped in a wind tunnel. Like something from 2304, it could rip 0 to 60 mph in under 3 seconds while topping 253 miles per hour, a giga-fast luxury cruiser at quadruple most highway limits. Its maker Volkswagen spare no expense, selling each Veyron chassis for about $6 million to fund development. In 2013, Bugatti launched the 1,200 up Veyron Supersport World Record Edition. Designed specifically to reclaim fastest production car honors, Bugatti test driver Pierre-Henri Raffinel hit 267 miles per hour on a closed Germany test track to set the official Guinness record, which stands today. Of course, with bragging rights at stake, rivals keep nipping at Bugatti's tail. SSC North America's Tuatara hypercar used a turbocharged V8 to reach 282 miles per hour in 2020. However, Guinness has questioned that run's telemetry validity. In 2021, a small Larry Lawson teamed with Indy 500 winner Juan Pablo Montoya to run their single-fan Wasson Maris supercar at Idaho's Johnny Bomer Proving Grounds. Onboard's cameras captured a two-way average speed of 271 miles per hour, suggesting Bugatti's production crown may change hands soon. One thing's for sure, with million-dollar hypercars now vying in numbers once held solely by jet and rocket cars, we're surely in a golden age of speed. Now here comes the main question. What is the fastest car in the world in 2024? When it comes to automotive bragging rights, the crown everyone wants right now is fastest production car on the planet. Hypercar brands have been dueling in rarefied air at the bleeding edge of speed, smashing once unthinkable velocity barriers in the quest to be king. Just over a decade ago, hitting 200 miles per hour in a street-legal ride seemed like a giant leap. But once that milestone got knocked down, engineers immediately started aiming at 300 miles per hour. Consider the benchmark crushed. We're already entering the era of 400 miles per hour in simulations. So who wears the land speed crown today? Right now, Sweden's Koenigsegg holds the production car record at a staggering 330 miles per hour, set by their $3 million Jesko Absolut. Packing a twin-turbo V8, putting down 1,600 horsepower through a 9-speed light-speed transmission, the Jesko was engineered specifically to claim the record back from Bugatti's Chiron Supersport 300+. But the Jesko brings more to the table than world-beating power. It has a NASA-grade lightweight carbon fiber chassis and a super slippery shape with active rear-wheel steering that allows it to cut through the air effortlessly past 300 miles per hour thanks to record-setting downforce over 400 kilograms at speed. As Christian von Koenigsegg said himself, "It's time to take the record to where it should belong with us." Cocky, sure. But he's backed it up, yet the competition keeps rising closer in the rear view. On the Jesko's heels sits Bugatti's newest monster, the track-only Bolide hypercar. Despite being too extreme for legal streets at 311 miles per hour, the Bolide ripped the record from Koenigsegg in 2021 with an average speed of 304 miles per hour across 2 runs. That kind of performance demands insane power, which the Bolide delivers via its quad-turbo 8.0 liters W16 laying down 1847 HP and 1365 ULF torque. Equally important is its bespoke chassis, made from an advanced carbon fiber braced with 3D printed titanium nodes. That lets it rocket from 0 to 250 mph in under 25 seconds, despite the immense forces trying to tear it apart at speed. That being track-only allows Bugatti certain freedoms. Unrestrained by regulations, the Bolide pushes extremes in design and engineering most brands wouldn't dare, giving it capabilities rivaling F1 cars. Of course, bragging rights don't come cheap. The Bolide's $4.4 million price tag reflects the bleeding-edge R&D needed to chase such asymptotic limits. But for brands dueling more for prestige than profit, no cost is too great in the quest for speed supremacy. The question now is, where does this hypercar arms race lead in the coming decade? Could we see regular production models hitting 350 miles per hour, 400 miles per hour and beyond? And how might the extreme bleeding-edge tech being chase impact transportation for average folks tomorrow? As we reflect on this relentless pursuit of velocity through time, some clear patterns emerge. First, never bet against human determination to push limits, no matter the risks. And each barrier smash opens new eras of possibility. Steam-enabled combustion engines, jet turbines, emboldened rocket cars. Now, digital-age exotic engineering allows refined street cars to chase milestones only specialized machines could before. Also, progress comes not from loners hiding ideas for safety, but cultures openly innovating through competition and sharing knowledge. Rocket madmen like Fritz von Opel and Craig Breedlove dueled for glory on the salt flats, but also expanded belief in what was possible for all. Today's million-dollar production hypercars continue that, acting like gateway drugs to pull capital and talent towards technical frontiers, with spin-offs we can't foresee yet. In those indirect ways, they expand our boundaries of understanding too by bringing the seemingly impossible tantalizingly close to reality. Sure, 300+ F cars serve no direct civilian needs beyond ego today, but chasing such limits triggers chain reactions, much like shaking a fizzy bottle seeds overflow. Perhaps unsafe liquid rockets won't power regular transport directly, but they may catalyze some plasma battery, or early jet car prototypes shape air travel attitudes. Who knows? Maybe students inspired by today's extremes develop cleaner, smarter mobility for the average person tomorrow. The quest for speed empowers innovation across bounds. Where do experts see possible limits? Could 400 miles per hour production cars emerge within 10 years? And how might chasing such asylum numbers continue impacting society indirectly? The race war is on. Let us know what you think down in the comments. What's your favorite hypercar?